Yo, this is Destroying Sanity, and today we're going to be talking about video game consoles and handhelds. This tier list looks godlike, my guy. So we're going to definitely do this. This was made in 2022 uh, from a guy named Nick. I will put a link in the description so you can look at his tier list. It's freaking godlike. Anyways, he didn't have never played or trash tier. I decided to add that. So, because there's a lot of consoles I've never played. Maybe one day I will play them, but we'll see eventually. For now, let's begin. I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible. Try to use a minute for everything I talk because I don't want to go on and rant about something unless that's what people like. I don't really know. So here we go. Never played, 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 never played. Atari 800, never played, never played, never played, never played. Okay, so we got rid of some stuff that I've never played. Now we're gonna begin with other stuff. We're gonna go with Atari. Uh, I would put Atari trash tier, but I'm gonna put in D just because of my personal experience. I actually played some Atari games on that one PlayStation 2 collection. It was a bit, I wouldn't say it's fun, but it was very entertaining. The first actual Atari 2600 console that I played, it was a terrible experience as the game that it had was Ghostbuster. Oh my goodness, it's a terrible experience. The Atari is definitely, it's not as popular as Nintendo or any other older consoles, but Atari gets some respect for starting the whole thing. If it wasn't for Atari, I don't know if we would have any of these consoles that we have now. So yeah, it gets a D tier. I will probably go back one day and play them again. All right, so Game & Watch. I don't know if I should consider this the Game & Watch that I'm playing because I did play Game & Watch, not this specific model, and it's all right. It's fun. It's nothing to play over and over. Maybe back in the 80s when this came out, it was something people used to play a lot. But I give it a D tier for now. All right, Nintendo. Hey, dude, this is my first console. If you didn't know, Nintendo NES was my first console. I love playing games. I had it for a little bit until we gave it away. We upgraded to a Super Nintendo. We gave the Nintendo to my cousin. I didn't get Nintendo until I was 18. I played games like Dragon Warrior, aka Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, Super Mario Brothers, Zelda, all the good stuff. Tom Sawyer, yeah, there's a game called Tom Sawyer. A lot of great games to talk about. This console has a lot of hard games, by the way. I didn't get to play Mega Man on the NES, but I did get to play the NES games on PS2 with the Mega Man Anniversary Collection. The game has really classic games. It gets an A tier just because I never really got to play as much as I would like. Sega Master System gets a C. Same scenario with this one. I get this like when I'm in my like I was 20 or something. I don't remember exactly when I bought this, but I played Phantasy Star 1 and I freaking love that game. I played some other games, but I didn't really have too much time. I never even played two players on this console, I believe. I just mostly played one player. There's some stuff that I kind of like don't like, but that's a different story. All right, next is the Turbo Graphics. We're gonna put it in B. There's the new mini one that came out for some reason. I'm just gonna assume this is a CD. Or just in general, let's just put it in B tier. It's great, great. I love it. A lot of arcade, horizontal, vertical shooters. I love those type of games. I like arcade games. They're fun. The little, cue cards. They're great. Loved it. CD attachment. Has some games. I only got one game on the CD attachment, but anyways, it's a great console. I managed to get one for free many years ago, so that's pretty cool. Game Boy Pocket gets a B. Game Boy gets a C. No offense. I know Game Boy is more popular now. I think it's more expensive than Game Boy Pocket. For a long time, Game Boy was really cheap. I remember playing it. I didn't like the screen too much. I didn't like the colors and stuff. And I just didn't like a lot of the stuff. 4 AA batteries compared to 2 AAA batteries. Obviously, the Game Boy Pocket is way better. They had the same game library, so there's no difference between the size and the screen. But they're great games. Pokemon, a lot of other games that I could mention, like Donkey Kong on there. Don't play Killer Instinct on it. All right, S tier, NES. Obviously, I'm going to put this in freaking S tier. The GOAT. Let's call this GOAT tier, my guy. Let's call it GOAT tier because that's what it is. Greatest of all time, dude. I can't get enough of this. Played so much games on this. Super Mario RPG, freaking Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Killer Instinct. You got just the various games, Soul Blazer, a lot of games I can name. And it's just so freaking good. All right, CD Phillips. I never played it too much. I can't say anything. Sega 32X gets a D tier. You have like under 20 games. The only game I've ever played on this is like Knuckle Chaotix, so it gets a D tier. Sega CD. Honestly, dude, I will put in D tier. I've only played Final Fight and Sonic CD, and then I didn't play Sonic CD on the Sega CD. Obviously, Sonic CD has been ported to so many different consoles, so that's one thing to take in consideration. But I'm sure there's other great games on there, but it gets a D tier. And I'm only going by what I own and what I actually have. Sega, Game Gear. I give it a C tier. It's wastes a lot of battery, but I never actually use batteries. I just connect the cable. This is probably even lower for some people due to the fact that I heard it drained a lot of batteries. I don't really know, because I never really played this portably. I didn't own this as a kid. I owned this as an adult, and once again, I just mostly played it with cords, the AC cord on it. So yeah, there's that. It has really good games. A lot of anime games, by the way. Games that never came out in the U.S. I'm laughing because it never came out in the U.S., but it has a lot of great anime games. If you like Yu Yu Hakusho, Sailor Moon, all that stuff. Sega Genesis. I guess we're going to go to models. We'll put this B tier, and the Sega Genesis Gen 3 model C tier, and the OG gets an A tier. Freaking that high definition sound with the stereo Yamaha board, freaking great. Yeah, I love it. This the Sega Genesis actually has a really great control. The 6-button control is way better for fighting games than the Super Nintendo. No offense, but Sega Genesis had great 3-button layout. 6-button layout for arcade games. Yeah, it didn't come with the console, but hey, it still was a little bit good. Okay, so yeah, Sonic, everything, boom. Sega CD, never had it. Sega Neo Geo, never had it. Atari Jaguar CD, don't have it. I didn't even know there. Oh yeah, I remember now. The toilet thing. Jaguar, never played it. Game Boy gets an A tier. We're gonna put it above there. Game Boy Color, legit, dude. It made Game Boy Pocket and Game Boy look like nothing. And not to mention, Game Boy Color had exclusive games. You couldn't play Pokemon Crystal on the older versions, and you couldn't play other games like Wario World 3. A lot of stuff on this console, on this little handheld, that the older ones couldn't do. So obviously, by the time I got a Game Boy Color, I got a Game Boy Color first before getting any of these guys. So that's the reason I put it a little bit higher. N64 goes in the greatest of all time. Come on, think about it, dude. Think about it. Oh my goodness. Well, for me at least, whenever people come over, 64 is like literally the number one console we play, mostly for multiplayer. It's kind of funny because it only has 4 players, and if you have more than 4 players, I got extra 64s, extra TVs, so you know it's going to go down. 007, Mario Kart, Mario Party, you know it's going down. It's the greatest of all time. And if you want to play single players, you got that Legend Ocarina of Time, all that good stuff, and some other games too that people forget, like Army Men. Some people only remember the classics like 007 stuff. Virtual Boy, trash tier. I played it. It's not that great. The Sega, I never actually used this guy, but I'm pretty sure it's pretty good. First handheld Sega Genesis. Sega Saturn. Ooh. We're going to put Sega Saturn in C tier. I know a lot of people have been literally freaking loving Sega Saturn. It's been getting a cult following lately. A lot of games that were released on PlayStation or other consoles have been considered better on the Sega Saturn version. I've never actually played those, so I can't really say. I only own a few games. I got like Sonic 3D Blast and there's some other ones. So I don't have that many Sega Saturn games. So my experience with Sega Saturn is great, but it's just I need more time before I could give it a better tier because I liked it because they have fighting games, and I think if I remember correctly, I do have Street Fighter vs. X-Men actually. The load times are way better than it was on the PlayStation. PlayStation was really awkward for those games. All right, we got the SNK Neo Geo Pocket. We're gonna put it on B tier. Definitely put it above there. I like Neo Geo Pocket. It has a lot of anime games and stuff. I'm gonna put the other one too, the color one. Actually, no, I'll put the color one down here. Because this is the non-color one. This is the color one. Obviously, really nice screen. Everything's perfect. So we put that. The Sony, I'm gonna put Sony probably in B tier. No offense, but I grew up with this Nintendo 64, so I missed the whole like wave of PlayStation. I got a PlayStation when the PS2 was already released. They sold the PS1s for $50. Mega Man X series, amazing. Street Fighter Alpha 3, great. Final Fantasy games, 7, 8, 9. Tactics, everything. The PlayStation 1 was a good console, but the reason why I put this in B tier is because you'll see. Where is it? Right, well, we're right here. I think it's right here. Okay, we'll put this in the GOAT. PlayStation 2, my guy. That's the reason why. Because I got a PlayStation 2 a year after. So I gave my PS1 to my brother because just play PlayStation 1 games. Great library as well. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, amazing. Rumble Roses. WWE games. Ah, man, it's just great. What's this? 3DO? Nah, I never played 3DO. Putting in the non-section. What is this? Tiger game? Dude, I never even heard of this. This is very interesting. Xbox, I give it a B tier. I'll put it above, in front of the Genesis. Xbox could have been a more higher tier, but I didn't get one until later. I hear great stories about it, about people having like LAN parties and stuff. If I had LAN parties with this console, I'm definitely for sure would have been higher. I like some games. They look much better on this. I like to not admit it, but I will. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas looks better on Xbox. Back then I said no, it doesn't, but it was just kids being kids in the yard. So that's another reason why. You sometimes when you get an adult, you have an understanding. You actually have a realization of stuff. All right, Game Boy Advance. It gets to the GOAT tier right here, my guy. Ooh, yeah, Game Boy Color A, but Game Boy Advance, my God, dude, it gets a freaking A tier. I mean, S, GOAT, greatest of all time, dude. I'm putting it here because I have an LCD mod for it, so I'm gonna put that there. I'm putting the Game Boy Micro in A tier. I'll put it back here in A tier just because it. Actually, I'm putting it in B tier. Let's be real here, dude. It's not that great. It's tiny, dude. It's for little people with small hands. Game Boy SP, we're gonna put it up in front of the Game Boy. I do have a modded, but if we're not talking about modded consoles and just plain Jane, I would consider Game Boy Advance an A tier. If we're not talking about mods, I have an LCD mod on my Game Boy Advance regular. SP was obviously godlike when it came out. You got to play everything. The only thing that was uncomfortable was playing the Game Boy games. That's the reason why everyone LCDs mod this one, because you could sit down, laying down on your bed, and don't worry about your Game Boy or Game Boy Color game hitting you, like you hitting it. So that's the reason why. I keep moving this thing for some reason. Okay, let's move to the next one. GameCube. I gave GameCube an A tier, I guess, because once again I played with PS2. I had more experience playing on PS2. A lot of games were similarly released with the PS2. I think the GameCube got a little bit extra Sonic games, as Sonic Adventure, I think exclusively only came out on the GameCube. It didn't come out on the PS2 or Xbox, if I remember correctly. You correct me if you want. Let's see, and also you have like the Nintendo exclusives. The console was cheap at the time, and it has great games. Melee, the Mario games, obviously. I want to say Wind Waker, but I don't know. I have mixed feelings with that game personally. I didn't like the art style. That's just my personal take. Nokia, put it on D tier. It's I'll put it yeah, we'll put it here. It doesn't really matter. D tier is not important. I actually bought one of these guys. They're amazing, but I can't use my actual phone provider because everyone is 5G now. So you have to have a 5G compatible phone. You can't use older phones, but this is actually pretty cool. I played this with some people. This guy had it. He got it for free, I think. That's why he had it, and he was all hyped about it, talking about how you could play video games. I played Tony Hawk on this, Sonic. It's a really cool little device. It's not really like, how do I put this? It's not trash. It was advanced for its time, I would say. It's all right, dude. It's just all right. That's all I gotta say. It's not the best, and it's not the worst. Dreamcast gets a, I want to say B, dude. I love Dreamcast, but a lot of issues I had with Dreamcast is a lot of the games that were really, because this console had so many fighting games, and eventually a lot of those games would get ported to other different consoles. You got Capcom versus SNK2, Marvel's Capcom versus SNK2. Did I say that twice? Marvel's Capcom 2, Capcom versus SNK2. Okay, that was confusing. You had Third Strike. You had the Sonic Adventure games. You had a lot of games, but like I said, they eventually got ported to different consoles. Sonic Adventure got put to GameCube. Marvel's Capcom vs. SNK got ported to all the consoles at the time, like GameCube, Xbox, and PS2. So it's a great console, dude. Phantasy Star, love it, but once again, it got ported to GameCube with online compatibility, by the way. So it was much cheaper to get a GameCube and a modem at the time than to try to get a modem for the Dreamcast. So there's that. Xbox 360. I'm gonna put it in A tier, my guy. I didn't grow up with the Xbox 360, but one thing that Xbox 360 I would say had is the Just Dance game, dude. I know you freaking like, what, really? Yeah, Just Dance, dude, was, oh man, Just Dance was just incredible. I'm gonna put this guy on. I'm gonna put the regular first white model in D tier, I guess, because of the Red Dead Light or whatever it's called. But the other models were more compatible, more better. So yeah, Just Dance, really great. A lot of other consoles require you to hold like a little like the Wiimote on the Wii and this PlayStation Move on the PlayStation 3. This game superior when it comes to the Kinect. So the Kinect gets much respect. Till this day, it's still really great, dude. No joke. It does have its exclusives and other stuff. But the thing is, dude, playing Final Fantasy 13 on a 3-disc, that's funny, dude. Other than that, the console's great. All right, we got the DS going on. All right. DS. Here we go. DS Lite. GOAT. That's right, my guy. It's GOAT. The reason why DS Lite is going to be in the GOAT is because you got to play Game Boy Advance games. DS XL did not, so we'll put it at A. DSi, not at A. Regular DS, if I remember correctly, it did play Game Boy Advance, if I remember correctly. I'll put it on B tier. It was just very clunky. I think the brightness was not that great, but the speakers are pretty decent. God damn it, dude. Why is my nose getting stuffy? All right. The Wii Mini is trash tier. no offense for anybody has no internet connection. It's just, I don't know, dude. Without the internet connection, it's just stupid. Am I being that harsh? I guess I am. I'll put it in D tier. God. It doesn't have internet, dude. That's the reason I freaking hate it. The Wii gets a greatest of all time. I know you're probably wondering, what the freak, dude? Why are you putting the Wii in the greatest of all time? It's not that great of a console. Not that great exclusives. Dude, you guys missed out on so many stuff for criticizing the Wii. That's all I gotta say. You got railgun shooter games. You had Resident Evil 4, best port in my personal opinion. You had like a lot of stuff. The reason I can't freaking name them is because my nose is getting stuffy. You got Zelda. You can play Zelda with the actual sword. You don't have to play with a remote. The Zelda Twilight. I believe some other games too. I'm trying to remember some other stuff. You could play Call of Duty. Yeah, I know what you're saying. What? Call of Duty with the actual remote. I did like the whole aspect of shooting. That's the reason I'm bringing it up, is being able to put your Wiimote on a gun, little handheld thing, and then just start shooting people with it. It felt good. I love railgun shooters, and I like being able to shoot somebody with just pointing the gun at the screen. It's freaking amazing. Brings back to the NES days. And there's a lot of party games. We actually played Bomberman with 8 players. 8 players, my guy. It had so much more when it comes to multiplayers. It's a party console for sure, but people never really got into that too much. And I guess it was a party console for like older people, retired people. I did see this at a retirement home, by the way, and I did see an old person playing it. Anyways, next one. PlayStation 3 gets an A tier for me. We'll put it in front of the freaking in front of the Xbox. PlayStation, the first model that has backwards compatibility, gets the GOAT, but the PS Slim and it gets the A tier because it didn't have backwards compatibility disc based. We'll put the PlayStation Slim in the B tier. I personally believed if every console like the Slim and the Super Slim had backwards compatibility to PS2, it would have been in the GOAT tier, but it's not. They took out like a few years, I don't remember how long, but they took out the backwards compatibility. If you see the PlayStation 3 fat model and you buy it, make sure it's the specific model, because they did stop making it backwards compatible with PS2 at a certain extent. Even though it had the same look, you still got to look at the model number. It's a great console. Being able to play all your previous PlayStation games, if you have the perfect backwards compatible one, it was awesome. It has good games. I didn't like the whole DLC. It kind of ruined it for me, but there's still a pretty good amount of games, and most games did get released like a Game of the Year edition with all DLC, so that's something to take in consideration. PSP Go, my guy, I give it a B tier. It's actually no, let's give it a D tier. No offense, dude. If you're officially playing this, I modded mine, but if you have an official one when they came out and you had PSP games, it was garbage, dude. By garbage, I mean, come on, dude. You freaking can't use your UMBs. What, your UMDs, dude? What the freak? PlayStation, GOAT, my guy. GOAT. I'm gonna change these up real quick. This is how I see this thing. PSP is definitely above the DS, in my personal opinion. PSP was really great. I'm not sure if I read this or I came across a video. Some guy said PSP had no exclusive games. Are you really kidding with me, my guy? You had great freaking games on it. You had DJ Max. You had Tales of Radiant Mythology. You got like, oh my, do you not? Let me tell you something about Radiant Mythology, my guy. It's freaking a great game. The only Tales game that I know, as far as I know, that you create your own character, female or male, etc. Different type, like a brawler or mage. Dude, it was legit a really great game. Exclusive. Never been released in any console, by the way. that specific Tales game. You had freaking some rocks. They weren't exclusive, but a lot of the PS2 games were ported to the PSP. You got to pretty much experience PS2 games on the go, and that wasn't the thing back then. Back then, portable gaming was like very downscale for whatever the console was done. The DS had some good games. I love, Wild World from Animal Crossing. I love some other games, Izuna, all that stuff, but they were very like still like sprite liked. A lot of the games were still like Izuna sprite like. Wild World was a little bit 3D model for sure though, but a lot of stuff. The PSP legitimately just was freaking rocking. You got to play music, watch movies, something that's people are forgetting that it was honestly ahead of its time. Now you could do that with your phone for sure, but that was like it was revolutionary. PSP is literally. I'm gonna put PSP above the freaking Game Boy. Let's just do it. It was just that good. Don't know what this is. Stadia SNK. Trash tier. We're putting that in trash tier, my guy. Let's see. So I think I have a few left. Xbox One. Never used it. I never used that, so I can't really say. Okay, let me edit this thing real quick. Okay, boom. All right, so I never used the Xbox One. I can't say anything. Xbox One X, Xbox One as well. I can't say anything. 2DS XL. I actually own one of these. I put it on. Yeah, I'll put it on the go. It's a great console. The 2DS. I'll give it a C. XL. I'll put it up there too. Oh, these are just the regular. These are not the new ones, is it? I think it's just. I believe it's just regular DS gets an A tier for me. Oh, these are the new ones. Okay, so that's weird. Did this dude mess up? I don't remember the 2DS XL. I don't remember the 2DS XL. Just it's called new 2DS. I'll put this at XL as well. Interesting. Whatever. We'll put that there. All right, so let's look into this tier list right now. Okay, so the 3DS is a good console. I love it. It has a lot of great games. This is the first time where we finally get away from kind of like the sprites and become more of a 3D visual. I know what you're saying. Games don't have to be good to be 3D. I get it. I understand. I agree with you, but a sprite game shouldn't cost me that much money, dude. I'm just gonna be real with you right now. Sprite games should always be cheaper because they're just more easier to make than 3D games. I don't care what you say. I don't care how good the game is. Like look at Undertale. Wasn't Undertale like $10 when it came out? Because the guy was smart. He wasn't an idiot. It's a freaking sprite game. Let me look up real quick on how much Undertale was when it came out because. Probably $20 when it came out, but we'll see right now real quick. Right now it's $3. Let me go to Steam right now. Originally it was $10. See, the guy was smart. He made a sprite game, put it at a good price. He's not an idiot. He's smart. It didn't take that many people to make a game. 3D games take a lot of people to make, so I respect. Like back then, 2D games, sprite games were definitely more expensive to make, but technology has evolved that you don't really need that much people for sprite games. I guess some people will pretty much constantly say I'm wrong, but hey, whatever you agree, whatever you say. All right, the Switch Lite gets an A tier from me. It's actually pretty cool. It's really cheap, affordable, and it does what I want it to do: be portable. It's very small. So I think that's why I want to put it B, but the price I pay for it is not that bad. You can find one for like $100. They're not that great. Freaking Switch regular Switch goes B, I guess. There's no, oh yeah, there it is right there. The Wii U gets an A. Really good console, by the way. People just mislooked it. It doesn't have that many games, but it really has really good stuff. Like you get to play like DS games, dude. The first time you get to play DS games on the screen without having to mod it. Trash tier Ouya. Never used this. Let's just get rid of the stuff I've never used. Evercade. Actually, I've never used Evercade, but they look pretty good, dude. So I'm just gonna put them there for now. I never played the Xbox X series, but I'm gonna put it a. Is it messed? I'll just put it never played. I really respect the Series Xbox because I just think, I personally think they're really great. Playdate never used that. I put the Game & Watch, the new release one that I bought. They're really cheap and it's just a little, like, how do I put this? It's just a little mediocre thing. It's nothing to take in consideration. Steam Deck, I've never used it, but I want to put it in S tier. But I should just be realistic on what I've used. The reason why I want to put a Steam Deck in because you could play everything if you freaking put emulators and stuff. I never used this. Never used this. Never used this. Never used this. PC gets an A tier. PC could pretty much emulate everything that's on this list, but at the moment, it's still having struggles with some other emulators. Like, I think there's no Vita emulator yet. Eventually, they will create a Vita emulator. It's not like the PC never will create one. There's a lot of times where PlayStation 3 didn't even have an emulator. So, it gets an A tier for now. For the PS4, I'm putting it in the GOAT. Should you really? Nah, let's put it in A. No offense, but I'm putting it in A. I don't like paying online, dude. That's the reason why I'm putting it in. I'm putting the PlayStation 4 on A because you have to pay online and stuff. Alright. So yeah, the games are great and all, but I just don't like the fact that you have to pay online, dude. I hate that. I freaking hate it. The games are really cheap and affordable, but I just don't like it. All right, Vita. We're gonna put Vita in A. Vita used to be in D tier for me, but it's evolved to A. The reason why is because I bought one in 2020. I think before or during the pandemic, and it's a really good console, dude. If you do like remote play and stuff, and do stuff like that, it's actually a pretty good console. People just oh crap. People just don't know that. I think the reason people didn't like it is because it wasn't backwards compatible. It was backwards compatible with previously purchased PSP and PS1 games. But it's still like if you had UMBs and stuff, it's like, oh, come on, my guy. At least the DS, the 3DS made it possible to be backwards compatible with the regular DS. So it's like, come on, man. If they're able to do that, why couldn't Sony do that? I think that's one of the biggest failures. They like the UMD discs, but they freaking didn't really see the future in, hey, we're going to keep using these discs in the future. They went from UMDs to cartridges on the Vita, and that's not bad, but once again, you couldn't do backwards compatibility. They took off support to be able to play your PS Vita on the TV when the PSP had that feature, so it really sucked. They released a PS TV for that purpose. Also, the PS TV was meant so you could play your PS4 like in a different part of the room, so you don't have to be moving your PS4. It's a great concept. Bought these for really cheap, so obviously my experience is really great. Anyways, that is my personal tier list. If you guys want a more detailed tier list, it would take hours, and I could do that if you guys like. This video was 30 minutes. I try to do it as short as possible. I try to mention games. I try to mention some stuff. This is my personal tier list. Before we end the video, let's look at it one more time and assign everything a little bit. I think I'm going to put the PlayStation behind the Wii. No offense. I love the PlayStation 3, but I believe the DLC ruined it. The Wii does have DLC, but it wasn't cluttered with DLC compared to the PS3. All right, so I think everything's looking good. In my personal opinion, this is my GOAT list on this tier. So yeah, I think that's... I don't know if I should... I think I'll move 3DS to A tier, dude. No offense. No offense. 3DS is going to be put in A tier. I don't think it's the greatest of all time. It is good, but it's... I don't know, dude. For now, it's gonna be an A tier. I can't name a lot of games on the 3DS that are like wow, but I definitely believe Game Boy Advance goes above it. GameCube as well. The Nintendo, no, that looks good. I think this looks really good for A tier. So A tier for sure. I know we're gonna be pissed about the computer being lower than any of this stuff because you can emulate everything that's in front of it. The computer is good, dude, but I don't know, dude. It's just something about having a console that makes it really gamerish, I guess. That's the dumbest thing I've said. Anyways, I think that's all right. If I really need to make a specific, like really detailed tier list one day, I definitely will. But for now, this is my personal tier list. You guys, hope you enjoyed the video. It was very long. It was really, really, really bad too. But hey, I'm out. Peace.